Da-da-da, da-da-da. Well, that's all the intro music I got for you this morning. Good Saturday morning. We're trying to have a few technical difficulties trying to get our music, our intro music, to where it will work. Lanny a little under the weather. He's trying to help us from home. So be patient. But let me know. I think we sound okay, as good as we can sound, you know. I think we'll be fine as far as the broadcast goes.
Good voice, not a great voice.
Yeah, that's it goes back a long way now, doesn't it,
does.
pal? But you know, it's one of those things you deal with. We'll see if we get our music running in just a little bit. Kind of one thing about the music, you know, it knows if you're up walking around doing something that we're about to go back on, that the commercial break has ended.
We won't have that today.
We don't. Not yet. Mike should have been a detective.
But stone cold silence.
Stone cold. Mike, you know, you sent me a message a couple of days ago. We always talk a little music. Jeff Beck, legendary guitarist. Where did you see that? I finally saw it on Twitter later. Where did you hear that quick?
Probably Twitter.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of news comes across. A lot of national, worldwide news actually comes across the Twitter board.
You sometimes you hear it first on Twitter. But yeah, I mean, of course, he was with the Yardbirds early, and Eric Clapton was also there. And he had a lot of groups that he played with, but he played with a lot of other musicians.
That's what I was going to ask you. Was he ever linked to a group?
We had the Jeff Beck group. And a number of other reincarnations of various musicians. But he played on so many other recordings by other people and was just considered, you know, one of the premier rock blues guitarists to come out of England during that whole time. You know, Clapton and all the others. Yeah.
I'll be honest, I didn't. You just said that right there. I did not know he was from England. I didn't know he was English. So now learn something every day. It always hurts to and this has been this 6-month stretch here. We've lost a lot of great music artists from back in the day, 60s, 70s, and even that's when they got their start, 60s, 70s. But they were still well known. You know, the Christine McVeighs of the world.
And just this week, Lisa Marie Presley.
Yep. I was going to ask you about that one too.
54 years old.
54 years old,
Cardiac
passed away. Was it just yesterday?
Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah. Okay.
2 days earlier, she had appeared at the Golden Globes Awards, where the actor who played Elvis in the movie won Best Actor in a drama. But very sad. 54 years old.
Who was it played?
I can't.
Don't remember. You're good at that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
not. His first name is Val.
And it's not Kilmer.
Not Kilmer. It's not Kilmer for what?
And who played Colonel?
Colonel Parker. Oh, yeah, Tom Hanks.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Almost unrecognizable. Yeah. Because he had other prosthetics on and everything.
Tom Hanks can play just about anything.
He can play anything.
He can play just about anything and do it well.
But yeah, she was there with Priscilla, and they wanted to, in case the actor won the award for his performance in Elvis.
I wanted Brett to be off the phone with Lanny whenever we talked about this, though. And we're getting into sports here in just a minute, because just go ahead and hold on. We're gonna start with two numbers when we start sports this morning. But Jeff Beck, I heard something yesterday on my way to school I'd never heard before in my life, and it was a tribute by him. You know, obviously it was a tribute on the radio for him, but it played his guitar version with no lyrics of the Beatles' "A Day in a Life."
Wow.
Have you guys ever heard that?
Never heard that.
Oh, you need to.
Okay.
You need to.
It's "A Day in the Life"
done by guitar.
Done by guitar.
Yeah, it's great.
And that song has so much going on.
It does.
In it.
There's a little symphony in there too.
Symphonic
that you'll hear. There's a little symphony in there with him as background music. But He did. He played the whole thing. Anybody out there heard that? That was incredible.
I'm going to find that on YouTube.
Yep.
If I can.
You know, a lot of times I think the people that do the national anthems on guitar, you know, are very talented, and I like hearing that. We got to see one just last week. What game was that, Brett? When we talked about it, one of the games last week, or was it was what we're going to start with this morning. It was in the college national championship. Those numbers we're going to start with are 65-7.
Yeah.
It was prior to that. Did you not see the national anthem being played, Mike? I
must have missed the national anthem.
It was this was a guy from, where was the game? Arizona?
No, Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. Okay. Yeah, that's right, in SoFi. It was a guy from L.A. Who had done some guitar work, and they had this foundation where he raised money, gave guitars to people that wanted to learn to play but couldn't afford guitars. And how was it related, Brett? Somebody, maybe one of the people learning was, their dad was on the security committee at the stadium, and they got him to do the national anthem, and it was great. And I can't remember the guy's name right now. Something simple like something Wayne, and it was W-A-N-E, Wayne, if I'm not mistaken, his last name. But that was pretty good as well, and especially to see somebody get to do that on a national stage that's never been on any kind of national stage before. But speaking of that, 65-7, will we ever see a national championship game that one-sided?
I don't know, but on the way up here on ESPN, I heard that was the largest beatdown in bowl game history.
In bowl game history?
Bowl game history.
Yeah. Well, you know, one thing they do with bowls, they try to match them up where the point spread won't be any bigger than 3. You know, that's their goal. Well, I just wonder what percentage of the bettors. The spread in this game was 13, was it not? Is that what it wound up being at game time? I just wonder what percentage of the bettors bet on TCU with a spread of 13.
Oh, I know.
It's going to be some on both sides, but I would like
to
know
let's
what percentage.
13 in a national championship game, that's a big number. Anyway.
Yep. How much would they have been favored by the Dogs had they played Alabama in that national championship game?
Oh, I think it would have been single digits.
Yeah, probably 2 or 3.
Well,
Yeah.
Because by the end of the season, the two best teams probably were Georgia and Alabama.
And I'm not going to take anything away from Ohio State, because Ohio State had a great performance.
They did.
But I do think this. I don't think Georgia played well early on in that game.
Well, no. As a team, they thought they didn't play well against Ohio State.
I didn't think they did. Just watching them,
and that's why they were so laser focused.
But they were so good that they were able to come back. Weren't they down 14 at one
quarter?
In the fourth.
Yeah.
And when they finally got it going and kicked it into high gear, you could tell they were clearly the better team. But
Ohio State played its best game of the season. Ryan Day coached his best game. C.D. Stroud had his best game, and they still couldn't beat Georgia.
Well, the worst thing you want to do is face an Ohio State team that just was embarrassed by Michigan in their previous game and had almost a month, I guess, to dwell on that and think about it. They were ready to play.
Let's face it, guys. Look, Michigan blew it. You give up 14 points to their defense, and you botched 2 possessions at the goal line. I wonder, how bad do you think Georgia would have beaten Michigan? It would have been more competitive. There's no question. I mean, I think Georgia would have beat Michigan pretty handedly.
They would have. Isn't it amazing how dominant Georgia was? An undefeated season. When Herschel was there, did they go undefeated? When they won the national championship in 80?
I think so.
Did they? But they didn't last year.
No, 14-1.
Who was it that beat them a year ago? Do you guys remember? Because I don't. But I did hear them say that they did not go undefeated.
I don't know. I thought they did.
Yeah, well, just right off the bat, I kind of did too. But I'm guessing they lost a conference game.
They did go 12-0.
Did they lose to Alabama in the SEC title game? No,
I don't know. That's our. Brett said they were 12-0 in 1980.
Okay,
12-0, and I cannot recall who they beat in the national championship game in well, there wasn't really a national championship game.
They beat Notre Dame
in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who was the quarterback of that Georgia team, 1980? I don't know.
I know who the running back was.
Oh yeah.
And he's honestly the only
Was
player
it
on
Bug Ballou?
That's it.
the
Yeah.
really
Bug Ballou.
Yeah.
Okay.
Buck.
Buck.
Okay.
Buck Ballou.
You know, everybody knows who the Lenny says it was Alabama that beat Georgia
That's
last
what
year.
I thought.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why not, right?
Why not? Of course.
How much harder is this going to make Nick Saban work? Because right now all he's hearing, and somebody said it on the stage, maybe David, what's his name? Pollock.
Yeah.
Might have said it to his face on the set the other night that Georgia has taken over college football.
Yep.
And they have right now.
Right now
they have right now.
Absolutely.
But
Every dog has his day, right? And theirs is happening. I heard too that I think it was Thursday. Their staff made 100 recruiting visits in a day, so they're not resting on any laurels. I mean, they get right back after.
Was that on Tuesday?
Yeah, they might have rested on Tuesday, but back.
I thought maybe they took off on Tuesday.
Later that week, they were already back at it. So, well, I think Alabama. Do you think Alabama's run is over? I don't. I mean, I think they had a great recruiting class.
No,
it's not over.
No, it's not. To me, I don't know if it'll even end. It probably ends, or at least goes a notch down when Saban retires.
When Saban retires.
But they still want to play for Bama. The kids still want to play for Bama.
Sure
They want to play for Saban.
Yeah.
And I don't know what was their score this year. Did they meet this year? Did not play each other
No,
this
they
year.
didn't play each other.
Jason says Georgia lost to Alabama last year in the SEC championship game,
Right.
and then beat Bama in the national championship.
National
Yeah.
See, I'm my short-term memory, or I guess that's called short-term because I can remember 20 years ago better than I couldn't remember they beat Alabama last year in the national championship, and I should have been able to. I'd had to look that up most likely. But if you would have
29-1 the last 2 years,
not bad,
not too
not
shabby.
bad, and that one loss was avenged.
Yeah,
later on,
definitely.
But
I'm still trying to figure out how they only beat Missouri this year, 26-22. I guess even a great.
Well, you know what?
team.
Right, you're not going to go out there and perform your best every single game. You know, you're just not going to do it.
Nope.
I mean, but the magic word was
They won.
they won. They played good enough to win that game. Was that on the road at Missouri as well?
It was on the road.
And how much did they win by?
It was like 3 or 4 points.
Yeah, was it that low?
22, somewhere in that area. Yeah,
Lenny is answering a question. Austin Butler.
that's right.
That's right. Well, what's the answer to?
Austin Butler,
Mike Powell said it's right.
the actor who played Elvis.
Exactly. The actor that played Elvis. And what
One
was
of
the
the
name of the
golden-
movie? Was it just Elvis?
I think so. Just Elvis.
Or not just Elvis, but Elvis.
He did a heck of a job. I'm not surprised he won an award for that.
65-7. All I got to say about 65-7, in my opinion, I think that college football, supposedly our volume is very low on WLOM side. Brad, I don't know if you can do anything about that or not. If there's a master there you can turn up or something. But
He just turned it up.
okay. But 65-7, all the schools across the country that are not named Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame, maybe even LSU to throw in there, Tennessee. There's just a handful that better be glad. The rest of them better be glad that we're going to 12 teams in the playoffs.
That's right.
But I don't think we'd ever see another scenario where a TCU got in.
Nope.
And you know what? It looks like now they earned it. I can't say they didn't. But it looks like now that, like we said, Alabama or even another team maybe could have slipped in there and gave better competition. It was kind of a question mark when TCU lost their championship game of their conference, to K-State. And K-State's always good, don't get me wrong.
But then they got blitzed by Bama.
They did. They did. And didn't K-State have 2 or 3 conference losses? May have been 3, was it? Or 3 total losses this year?
3 total losses.
3 total losses.
Yeah.
And
the way TCU won a number of games.
Last second.
Mm-hmm. But then they beat Michigan, which gave them credibility. But
as a nation, will we remember what TCU did or what happened on Monday night?
And you're just probably going to remember that beat down.
You always
neither.
remember. Neither. You always remember the worst.
Yeah,
You always remember
You
the
do.
bad. I hate it, but
I know.
you always remember the bad. And they did have a terrific run. And
Well,
I still think Sonny Dykes is one heck of a coach.
I
you know?
I don't know. Is he won National Coach of the Year? He should. I mean, for what he did.
Give me another name that would be in that running.
All I know is TCU was picked preseason to finish 7th in the Big 12, and look what they did. And so, who else would be in the running? Well, of course, Smart, obviously.
Yeah. And when you lose 15 to the NFL and win it again,
Yeah.
you might,
That's a
now
test.
that game's over, I would probably vote for Smart
Yeah.
as the National Coach of the Year
That's
over.
That's it.
Everybody
Talks about the recruiting, David, but look at player development. That counts too.
Yeah.
They develop the talent, and they're rich in talent.
And you may not know the answer to this, Mike, but Brett probably, for some reason, he catches the little details. Number 4 on the sideline, who's been on the sideline for the semifinals and the championship. What's his name and what was his?
That's Nolan Smith, I think.
Okay, Nolan Smith, not the Duke Nolan Smith.
Yeah.
But he's a lot bigger than the
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's one of their
poundage-wise.
star defensive players.
That's right. He
Whether
didn't
he's
get to play.
defensive end or outside linebacker.
Yeah.
But
I felt happy for him, but I felt sad for him
Yeah.
yeah,
that he didn't get
Yeah.
to take
He didn't
place.
get to play.
Now, one of those guys on that team that was celebrating, Brett sent me a picture, played right here in Maiden. 2 times.
Whoa.
2 times, yeah. Salisbury linebacker. Walker?
It's Jalen or Jalon. I don't know how you.
Right.
I don't know. It's Jalon Walker.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
yep.
Okay.
And we remember people talking about him. Darian Crisson says Josh Heupel.
Yeah, I thought about
At
him.
Tennessee
Josh
should be
Heupel
coach
would
of the year.
candidate.
111.
That's a good one.
That's a good
You know,
one.
I think different guys will win it. There's so many that come out. Does AP have one, Mike? Does AP have a national
Mhm.
coach of the
Sure.
year?
I think they do.
Yeah, that's usually what people,
Yeah.
the sports writers of, basically that's your sports
Well, has
writers
that not
of
already been
America.
named?
I don't know. Is it named before
I mean,
the
they
bowl
did
games?
the award show that had the Heisman. Do they name it then, or they wait till the everything's over? I would think. I would think if they announced it the night of the Heisman, it would have to be the Sonny Dykes would have had to win it.
Yeah, I think so. Given where TCU
I got a feeling
was,
all 3
first
guys we
year coach.
named will probably win at least one
Yeah.
of all the
There's so many of
publications
them.
there are.
Yeah.
But
And I mean, you could throw in Lincoln Riley
Yeah.
or Brian Kelly, even based on the way they turn their programs around. But
Yeah, Lincoln Riley, absolutely.
but they had so much talent with those programs. I don't know.
Well, what Riley did and what Dykes did is a testament to the power of the portal, because they, both those coaches brought in players through transfers that really helped them.
that portal is gonna reel out of hand here over the next few years. It's going to work. We talked about this before. The lower level teams are going to work as farm teams now for the top 10.
A year or two at a lower level
Mm-hmm.
team, and then
Move on and just plug the spot where
What it does make is the power.
I'd like to
powerful
know
more
that the
powerful.
15 guys that Georgia lost to the NFL,
Mhm.
I would like to know the 15 players that were inserted into those roles, what their age was.
Yeah. How many of them were?
And they may have come through Georgia and now
Yeah.
started as juniors, but I'd
Quite
still just like to
possibly.
know what their age was because, quite frankly, which team was more dominant?
Well, I thought last year's team was better.
Did you?
Yeah.
Except on championship night. Of course, it might have been better on championship night because they did beat Alabama. I don't recall the score
It
of
was
that game.
pretty easily.
Yeah,
Um,
pretty easily.
Lenny says Sonny Dykes was the AP
Was he?
Coach of the
Okay.
Year, which was probably done before
Mhm.
the bowl
before
games.
before the championship,
before
or
the bowl
game.
games, maybe.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Could have been.
which I don't exactly know why you would do it before that, because you need to get the whole body of
the
work.
whole body of work, which includes a bowl game.
Yep.
Did you guys seen any of those way too early top 25s for 2023 yet?
I would have, but it's way too early.
Yeah. It's the same It's the same people. Georgia coming in number 1.
I could do that poll without even looking.
You don't even have to look.
No.
Alabama number 2, Michigan or Ohio State number 3. Just roll down the line.
Will Michigan fall off if Harbaugh leaves?
Yeah.
And who's next in line to get that?
That's a good question.
Lenny said December 19th is when that AP was announced.
Yeah,
so
before most of the bowl game.
Yeah, before the big one started.
That had to be when the Heisman was
it may be
given out
at the same time. If that was a Saturday, you can pretty much bet. 19th would have been a Sunday, wouldn't it?
Georgia last year in the playoffs, they beat Michigan 34-11 and Alabama 33-18.
Yeah,
two pretty dominant. Those aren't the
they
spreads
did,
they had.
They did lose a game last year, but I still think last year's team was better
right.
than this year's team.
Yeah, because last year's Alabama team might have been better. That was the team that defeated them. And I'm guessing in Tuscaloosa, and I don't know why I would guess that, but you would just think it was a home game for Bama and they won, and then they played at a neutral. And it's in high school, it's not hard to beat a team twice. The team that wins first usually wins. But when you got two national powers, it is hard to beat a team.
It is.
It is hard to beat a team twice.
They beat
extra motivation.
They beat Alabama. They lost to Alabama in Atlanta in the SEC championship last year. And I don't remember what the national championship was. They hadn't played them at home or away either year.
Oh, okay. Alabama
was the SEC championship last year.
Okay.
That
was
Georgia
the first
lost.
Meeting. That was the first meeting. What about that? Is that good for football? We got these big conferences, and you don't see the heavyweights play each other every year. Yeah. And there's some of them that don't play like for 5 or 6 years because of divisions.
Yeah. And they're going to get in their 3 non-conference games. One or two of those are going to be cream puffs. They may play one national power in their non-conference, but no.
Should the NCAA require, and they're not going to step in and do this, but should they require, if you want to get the automatic berth into the playoffs, that your conference championship game is no divisions? It's got to be the top 2 teams playing for that, because the NCAA don't want to see a team that would be in 4th place go to the championship game and win it and get an automatic berth. You know what I mean? Pull an upset, win by 1 point.
Well, just like Purdue and Michigan, right? Purdue was what, 6-5, something like that?
Purdue looked great against LSU, didn't they?
Yeah. Really good.
It was about as bad as the championship game.
Yeah, it was about the exact same score.
But that goes to what you're saying, because Purdue ended up winning a weak West division in the Big Ten, and of course had to play Michigan.
But you could see a situation where, like in that case, Michigan knows they're in because they're 12-0. They don't have to win that Big Ten championship, and then Purdue could win it and get in, and then.
That's right.
And then you have a team that is not one of the best 12 teams automatically get in.
Well, but in 2024, that dilemma would be solved, right?
Yeah.
Some degree.
Well, no, that's what he's
talking
about.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Oh.
with an automatic.
I don't think a 4th place team this year wouldn't have got in. A 4th place team in 2 years could get in.
I don't see any reason to have automatic bids. Just take the top 12 teams.
And not even a 4th place team. I mean, you could go on down. If the best teams are on this side and they're winning all the games, which happens in a lot of these conferences. Have we seen, out of the Power Fives, have we seen, and Jason says the championship last year, I don't know if I said that or not, was in Indy. Championship game last year. Have we seen a scenario where a team with 3 losses got to their conference championship game? 3 conference losses. I'm sure we've seen them with 3 losses.
Probably.
I don't know about 3 conference losses.
It could be, though, because if you got all the heavyweights, I don't know why they do that. They want them to play every year, but if you didn't have divisions, you could schedule them to play every year.
Yeah. But what was Purdue's record in the Big Ten?
They did lose 3. They lost 3 this year to Penn State.
3 conference games, and they were in the title game.
Penn State, Wisconsin, and Iowa.
Oh, there you go.
And did they? No, they didn't win. Who beat them in the?
Michigan beat them. Yeah.
How bad was it?
It's pretty bad.
21.
Yeah.
Well, the Big
21 this damn time don't seem like a beatdown.
Yeah. Of the Power 5, the Big 12 does it right. They take the 2 best teams.
Yep. Not after 58. That's a beatdown.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like that. I do like taking your 2 best teams.
Mm-hmm.
You can. I think you can schedule easier. You can make sure everybody
plays everybody.
You should play everybody.
Yeah.
In a 15 conference, you should play everybody at least every other year.
Every other year.
You know?
Yeah, you shouldn't go more than
1.
Yeah, more than.
You don't have to go more than 1 if you do it right, if you do your scheduling right. Mm-hmm. And you could still keep that one big rivalry game that everybody plays the last week, you know? Mm-hmm. Minnesota plays Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Don't have to touch that. Ohio State, Michigan, don't have to touch it.
You pick matchups, say these 2 teams are playing every year.
And
no
if they play
what.
each other last, that's usually your big matchup.
Like Alabama, Auburn.
Right.
They play every year.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, they're in the same division.
Georgia, Florida play every year, and so on.
I don't know what Georgia's going to be like next year, but I'm going to pick them because Lenny says I agree with Brett. I think last year's team was better. And this team just, with the exception of not playing great against Missouri and not playing their best against Ohio State to the fourth quarter.
Well, look what they did against LSU.
They were pretty dominant. Yeah, I know. 2 good teams. 2 good teams.
Yeah.
He said, I don't think Georgia showed everything in the SEC championship last year because they were in no matter what happened. So, yeah, and
could be.
We don't really like that kind of thing. Ned says, selfish, but on my part, did the NCAA get what it deserved, a bad TV show, by playing on Monday night? I did not watch past halftime. Did any guys?
No, I didn't
Did you guys
either.
watch past halftime?
No.
Would be interesting to see the ratings, but bet viewership kept going down every 15 minutes. I'm sure it did. Advertisers probably did not get their money's worth, and I would say maybe right on that.
I think
as well.
About half the audience or more on television.
I will say this though,
building.
just a little bit in defense of that. I will say this: the Super Bowl's like that every now and then too.
Every now and then.
And it used to be that way back when the NFC was dominating and winning all the Super Bowls.
I'll keep watching the Super Bowl.
Do you?
Yeah, I'll watch it.
But it does get out of hand.
No matter.
I mean,
we've had some out of hand Super Bowls.
We have seen some get out of hand.
Usually, the best
time.
games are the conference title games. Wouldn't you agree? That's been my experience.
I still think maybe 60 to 70%.
Yeah.
But you still have occasion where those aren't real good either. And I do want to see the best 2 in those particular conferences. I'd like to see how many that affected this year. Mm-hmm. How many conferences championships? At least the Power Fives. How many of the Power Fives did not have their 2 best teams by record
in the conference
in the title game? How many conferences was that affected?
Well, that's certainly the Big Ten because you had Purdue.
It would have obviously been Michigan and Ohio State if you had the 2 best.
And they would have played back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
But guess what? Who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah, I would have watched.
Who cares?
Bring it on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
TCU and Kansas State. I don't know if those were the best.
If I'm not mistaken, I know this is NFL, but the Ravens, didn't they just play the Bengals?
Yeah.
Guess what happens tomorrow?
Yeah.
The Ravens play the Bengals.
Right.
Again. I mean, sometimes you just have to deal with it. Now, what was that statement, Brett?
I said Kansas State and TCU. I don't know if those were the 2 best teams. I mean, Kansas State lost to Texas in the regular season, but I wouldn't say Texas was the second best team.
You probably had the 2 best.
Utah and USC. I'd say those were the 2 best in that conference.
2 best.
Yeah.
LSU and Georgia, we think Alabama was probably the second best.
Well, they were. There's no doubt.
Yep.
They were. Yeah.
Clemson and North Carolina.
I don't know.
Florida State might probably ended up, I would say, better than North Carolina.
Yeah,
they were definitely ranked higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
but they're in the same division as Clemson.
Yeah. Are they? Miami's in it too, aren't they? I mean, I know they're not good right now, but they put that in there for the same reason, so Florida State and Miami would play each other every year.
Florida State's already getting a lot of.
Miami's in the opposite.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Miami's with North Carolina.
Okay. What has happened to the Canes?
Yeah, you could see Florida State rise back to the top next year. They're definitely going to compete for, I think, the ACC.
They finished 10-3.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But all 3 losses were conference losses.
Yeah. But they got a lot of people back from what I
Who were they?
read.
Do you have that?
They lost 3 straight games.
Wow.
Wake Forest,
High scoring game, wasn't it?
31-21.
Yeah.
NC State beat them by 2, and then Clemson beat them by 6.
Yep.
So that pretty close there to just having one loss.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty close there to just having one loss last year. We got to take our first time out. Sullivan is in bad need of a donut.
Yes.
So we have got to take a time out.
Donut.
Thanks for tuning in to Sports Talk. Back in a moment.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back. Glad to have you with us this morning. Now, I've got several texts that I got right up against the break there that I will read here in just a moment. And some of them are lengthy, but I do want to say I just got a voicemail from Butch Parker.
All right.
Still in the rehab, still doing what he needs to be doing. Struggled a little bit, over the last couple of weeks, but from what I understand, that has gotten tremendously better over the last couple of days, and we definitely want to wish him well and wish him the best. And I will call him sometime afterwards today and chat with him a little bit. So just be a little more personal and get to hear his voice again.
Hopefully he can get out of rehab soon, get back to some sense of normalcy.
Yep. Let's see. I'm going to read these. I think this is the order that I received them, and this is going to be like story time because this one's a novel from Jason. Speaking of the transfer portal, I heard Deion Sanders on Rich Eisen's show this week say he's building a roster that consists of 40% current players, 40% transfer players. So he didn't run everybody off, just 60%. 40%. Well, some of them graduated.
Yeah.
40% transfer players and 20% high school players. He said in his situation, to get things turned around quickly, he has to lean on the transfer portal. Wonder why he would just openly tell what his strategy is, because other guys may not think that and then read this and think, sounds like a pretty good strategy. I might try it, because he wants to be – I'd have kept it a secret how I'm going to do things. The portal essentially is hurting high school recruiting. This is Jason's I think this is Jason and not Deion here saying this part. For those, but I agree, it is hurting high school recruiting. And the high school recruiting, it's just going to be like minor leagues. They're going to the minors. I'm telling you, they're going to play down 2 years, and all of a sudden, boom, they're going to be on those Georgias and Bamas and teams like that. For those high school recruits, they can no longer try to slow play an offer. These coaches can now turn their attention to the portal of a high school if a high school recruit is slow to commit.
Yep.
And these coaches now will offer fewer high school players with now having that portal.
They know they can
of course they are. Of course they are. And it's going to be the same way in basketball, you know. He said the ACC is going away from division starting in the fall. Hallelujah.
Yeah, that's good.
Each ACC team will have 3 conference teams they play each season. Don't agree with that. I think it should just be 1. And that way you get to make sure you play everybody, every other. And maybe they still will. I haven't sat here and done the math, but I mean, I just think they need to play every team in the conference no more than 1 year apart. 1 year skip.
Okay.
Let's see. We'll have 3 conference teams, which season they play, and rotate those 3 conference teams. And then they rotate playing the other conference teams is what it says. Yeah, I just hope that they can work it in where that's just 2 years apart. So for North Carolina, their 3 opponents, rivals, are Duke State and Virginia. Virginia? For Duke, they are UNC State and Wake. I can't believe Carolina's is Virginia and not Wake Forest. I don't know who made that decision. The ACC title game will feature the first and second place teams in conference. This is what the ACC did in 2020 when Notre Dame joined for football in the conference for just 1 year of football.
Yeah, 1 year.
Now it's Ned's turn. My beef is still with the game on Monday night versus late Saturday afternoon. And I'm going to tell you this.
I get that.
While this is on my mind, Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock, it never even crossed my mind. South Dakota State was playing North Dakota State.
I didn't watch it
because it was right in the middle of the NFL. And we talked about it on Saturday morning last week, that's when it was. It didn't even cross my mind until about 8 o'clock at night that those 2 teams had played. And I still don't know yet who won.
It's a shame they couldn't have a national audience. South Dakota State beat them.
Did they?
They did.
So I wonder if that's their first
I think
national title.
They've
been before.
Yeah.
I think it was their first.
Yeah, because I think North Dakota State had just dominated it for the last 10 years or so.
Monday night versus late night. This is back to Ned talking about the time of the national championship game. Yes, this is a losing position for me to take, and we all know that because it's all about TV. True, the Super Bowl has bad games sometimes, but at least the game is on Sunday when most NFL games are played, and kickoff is about 6:30. Okay, now let's ask about this. A lot of the nation would like to see the Super Bowl move to Saturday, so they didn't have to take Monday off to recover from Sunday evening.
Sunday evening, yeah.
Would you like to see the Super Bowl on Saturday in prime time?
I'm good with that.
I don't care because it starts early enough.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
6:30.
Yeah, but when it ends, it is very
10:30.
Yeah,
10:30.
10:30.
4
It's fine.
hours.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
But it's not as bad as the NCAA championship game,
9
which
o'clock.
never tips off to about 9:15
yeah,
on
that's-
a Monday night.
And you know the reason for that. So West Coasters are at home
prime time.
from work
Prime time.
and get a chance to see, even though there's never a West
Just
Coast
I
team.
was gonna say, just in case UCLA's in it.
Or no, Gonzaga.
Yeah.
UCLA.
Well, I know, but
UCLA hasn't had a chance lately either. Gonzaga's the most recent, right?
yeah, they've been in it a couple
Did you
times.
I would like to look at the last 10 years and see how many times the national championship game had a team west of the Mississippi in basketball or football for that matter. The national championship game with a team
Well, you
in it
got
west
Kansas.
of the Mississippi.
Kansas is west of the Mississippi, but you
Okay,
don't
maybe I
really-
should just go a little further
You're
west.
gonna have to use
How
because-
about
time
west
zones.
of the Rockies? How about
Okay,
west of
that's
the
best right
Rockies?
there. That's okay in the mountain and Pacific
Mountain
time zone.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
In those two time zones.
Well, we know Gonzaga's been there twice, right? UCLA once.
Was Baylor in Mountain or Central?
Baylor's in
Baylor's
Central.
in Central.
Is all of Texas in Central?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Texas just puts those teams in the national championship year after year, right? Texas Tech played in one, didn't they?
They
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
They sure
Yep,
did.
Virginia beat them.
They're a long way from one right now. Let's
I don't
see.
know. They're pretty good.
And Ed says, yes, sir, I'll be very much on board with a Saturday Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Jason's time here. Jason says Virginia and UNC football is the South's oldest rivalry. Yeah. But
Just because the schools are so old.
Schools
yeah.
are sure.
but you know what? I don't even consider that a rivalry.
No.
I don't either.
In football. Maybe a little bit in basketball, and more
Maybe.
so back in the Ralph Sampson days.
They've just been playing the longest. not,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not really a
Well,
rivalry.
you know what? I wonder how they come up with this. Did each school get to sit down and rank what they considered was their rivals? The AD's got
I
to do.
doubt it.
That's the way it should have been done.
No.
Yeah.
Or did the ACC just say, "Hey, we'll do this.
Yeah.
We'll." But you know, then again, if that's the commissioner, then he might get voted out next time. I got to think most Carolina fans would rather see a North Carolina Wake Forest
Yeah. I
matchup
would.
than North Carolina Virginia matchup. I mean, sometimes in my mind, I know they're decent and all that kind of thing, but sometimes in my mind, I forget Virginia has a football program. Yeah.
Yeah. You do.
I hate to say that,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying. I mean, I really don't forget that, but it's like they're one state away from us, and we just don't hear a lot about.
hear a lot
We hear a
about
good bit
them.
about Virginia Tech, good or bad, but
Yeah.
Virginia football,
No,
it's just
I mean-
it's not quite as, I don't know what the word would be, not quite as popular,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
But they do. I mean, I just wonder if Virginia football could play a slow tempo and beat you 17-14.
Yeah, unlike their
Run the play clock down to
Basketball
one
game.
every possession.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we can beat
Hey.
you 52-50.
Tony Bennett style of
Oh boy, that's
style of
tough to
football.
watch. They're successful. Don't get me wrong. He's a good coach, but tough to watch.
Hey, this is great what Jason sent me here. The permanent opponents for all the ACC teams. NC State's is Clemson, Duke, and Carolina, which we figured. Duke's
So Wake
State,
Forest isn't even one of theirs. So who's Wake Forest? 3. Duke is one of them, and who's the other 2?
Those long-time rivalries with Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
You know what that is? That means
They just got the leftovers.
here's who you get stuck with.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Georgia
That's exactly
Tech
what
and
happened.
Virginia Tech.
Boston College, want to name them?
Syracuse.
One.
Pitt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And the other one is not a neighbor. And I say-
Miami.
there you go.
Wow.
Clemson.
The old Doug Flutie.
Clemson's
Hail Mary.
Clemson. I don't know. I don't know. This one would blow your mind too, except for one team.
Well, NC State, you already said.
They are, yeah. Yep. NC State. Why? I don't know. Georgia Tech.
Florida State.
And Florida State. Florida State I get
Yeah.
because NC State and Florida State had some really good showdowns when Florida State
Yeah.
first came into the league. They were the one team that upset Florida State a couple times. Florida State's are Clemson, Miami, Syracuse. Georgia Tech is Clemson, Louisville, Wake. I thought I'd already named Clemson about 6 times on here. I don't know how that's going to get done. Louisville's are Georgia Tech, Miami, and Virginia, which absolutely, once again, leftovers, I think.
Yeah,
'cause
it's
Louisville has no
leftovers.
rivalry
No,
with those teams.
Not in this league.
But they have been in the league the shortest amount of time, right?
Louisville.
Miami, Boston College, Florida State, and Louisville. And that goes back to some previous conferences as well, at least the
Yeah, it goes all the way back to the old Big East.
Boston
right?
College and Florida State
Yeah.
anyway, you know. We already told you Carolina State. Pitt is Boston College, Syracuse, Virginia Tech. That's not bad. That's not bad. Syracuse, Boston College, Florida State in Pitt. Virginia, Louisville, Carolina, and Virginia Tech. VTech is Pitt, Virginia, and Wake Forest. And I've already given you the North Carolina schools. That's interesting. I guess it really don't matter, you know. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, as long as everybody's satisfied with what they
So
got.
if Notre Dame came in, who would their 3 be? Boston College would have to be one because they play them.
Yeah.
They've played them for a long time. Not every year, but they have played them for a long
I
time.
put 'em with Miami.
I think Pitt would be one.
Pitt may, but I put them in Miami.
Yeah, they do have a rivalry with Miami.
Yeah,
It's-
just going back to the
to
the
80s and 90s.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
that you know. We all remember the shirts, convicts versus Catholics.
Yeah.
Catholics
Oh,
versus
yeah.
convict.
But I would think you would want Notre Dame
Somebody
and
made
Clemson to play every year. So I would think they would get put with Clemson.
Yeah, yeah. What if they now? Here's what funny. You add a team in. How's that gonna? I guess you won't have to mess with anybody else. Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would because it
And you might would only get 2.
it would give those teams 4 opponents.
You might would only get 2 teams that you play
Yeah.
every year
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, that might be better. Listen,
Yeah, I think it would
this
be
could be
better.
lowered to 2 easily.
Yeah.
It could be lowered to 1 easily.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, to me, it's North Carolina. If you only have one, it's North Carolina and Duke. They've been around forever, so make it State and Wake because that seems to be the way the rivals are set up more, don't you?
But
think?
don't you think Carolina and State
I think
is
Carolina
a
State
bigger
is
rivalry
bigger.
in
Yes,
football?
I do.
And I'd
Sure.
say Duke and Wake.
It may be. I don't know. It may be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, State and North Carolina in football.
I think it really don't matter as long as you keep the North Carolina schools against each
Yeah.
other. You know,
You got Virginia and Virginia
They
Tech,
might make it be Carolina, Virginia.
Florida State and
They only
Miami.
went- if they went down to 1, we'll just do Carolina and Virginia, which makes no sense.
Nah, you'd have to make it Virginia and Virginia Tech. They always play the last game.
Do you guys
Yeah.
think that
Yeah, you're
Notre
right.
Dame will stay like they are in football as an independent forever?
As long as they can.
Yeah, I do.
As long as they can, you know. And I don't see anything. They're probably making as much or more money a year
Yeah, with the
than any
NBC.
other university.
Yeah.
So far, no rules have been put in place that work against them being independent. And the fact that it's going to a 12-team playoff, I think,
You just add still, yeah.
works in favor of them being
Yeah, even though they're not
independent.
in a conference in football, yeah, they're going to finish in the top 12, probably.
Could
Well, I would think every other year they ought to finish in the top 12. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
being
Exactly.
realistic.
Yeah.
You would hope 3 out of every 4 years, but that,
people think Notre Dame sits out there alone on that island. There's 5.
But
BYU's independent.
not for long. They're going to the
Yeah.
Big 12.
Who else? So are they? There's some others. Might be one of the militaries.
Army.
Army.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And there's 2 more
You
because I
count-
know
you pretty
2
much
more
count
that
them
play
on
D1
one hand.
football.
Liberty.
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 Who else?
That's
Yeah,
4.
there's another one.
Yeah.
Let me
I just remember looking at it a while back, and there were 5, and it's like,
Let me
and I
see,
think
I
3
can
of them
tell you.
were in bowl games. I think
New
more.
Mexico State, there's 7.
7. Okay.
UConn and UMass.
UConn and
Oh,
UMass.
UConn. Okay.
Army, New Mexico State, Liberty, BYU.
I was gonna say neither one of those UConn, UMass, neither one play D1 football.
Nope.
But UConn does
UConn,
try.
Yeah. I don't know
They
who
do try.
UMass.
Oh, they do play football because we've
Oh,
seen
yeah.
them
They
against
played
Appalachian before.
Tulane, Toledo, Eastern Michigan, Liberty, Buffalo.
Okay.
They played all the independents except for Notre Dame and BYU.
Okay.
They played Texas A&M, Arkansas State. Yeah, so they play all D1 teams.
As far as
they only won one game.
As far as how the conferences and the divisions and who you play goes and that kind of thing and your rivals, Richard says they do ask opinions of the athletic departments of each school to show collaboration. But the conference ultimately is decided, but they ultimately decide the conference. I guess he's talking about the conference, the heads, the commissioners, the committee, the board, whatever it may be. They decide what they want to do. I went to college. He says he went to college with a guy who used to be a decision maker at that level. I don't think about how many phone calls you get if you're in that position. Most of them probably aren't on the pleasant side.
No, couldn't be.
And it says used to be. So I wonder if he stepped down himself because of all this.
His second day.
Oh man, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that because guess what? There's always going to be somebody hating you. Either a school or individuals or fans, but you're never going to please everybody when it comes to doing something like that. We're in January. Was there, for some reason, did I hear any major baseball? Yeah, who's the signing this week with the Twins? Brett,
Carlos Correa.
Yep.
Correa, yeah.
Ended up staying with the Twins.
The Giants could have had him. Could have been a contender.
There's probably a lot of teams could have had him.
Well, then the Mets had a deal worked out, and that seems like those teams were just scared of his.
What is it? The metal play?
The injury.
The injury
that he had several years ago, and the, I guess, results of his physical.
That. Anybody else? Was there anything else that came out in the baseball world?
This says Andrew McCutcheon is going back to the Pirates.
Is he really?
On a one-year deal.
Going back to retire,
yep.
I bet.
Yep.
I wonder how old McCutcheon is. He was a very popular. He won MVP one time, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Very popular player.
He
very
was.
great attitude.
Brandon Belt left the Giants. Did you hear that?
No.
That news?
No.
Going to Toronto.
Don't make Mike cry. Toronto's quietly.
He was our first sacker for years.
Got a pretty good squad up there, don't they? Toronto. Did they get ousted in round one of the playoffs this past? I can't remember.
Yeah, they would have had to.
Yeah, I can't remember.
And I don't get the whole arbitration thing in Major League Baseball, but it says Padres and Juan Soto avoid arbitration on a 1-year, $23 million deal. I don't see much. The Dodgers released Trevor Bauer, so he's going to be able to sign.
Yeah, that's something that's something
wherever he wants. I guess
inevitable.
Eligible to sign for league minimum.
Wow.
And they had him they could have had him one more year and paid him about couple million. But I think they talked to the players and coaching staff, and they just came to the decision they would rather not have that distraction.
Is he able to play now?
Yeah. His suspension was shortened, and he can return opening day.
But is he mentally and physically ready to play? I
think so.
I know you wouldn't know know the answer, but I just wonder. So you think he'll wind up on a team?
Oh yeah, and I think he'll be good.
Yeah. Yep. Come on, Boston, get you.
The Padres signed Nelson Cruz to a 1-year deal. I think he's 42.
Man,
but he can still hit.
He's one of the most underrated hitters in baseball because he doesn't get a lot of publicity, and he has been kind of a nomad. But I really, I would take him on my team. I really would take him on my team because I've seen him hit some monster shots over the monster in that ballpark. A couple things here from Lenny. I hear there was a Mac Brown sighting at the Maiden basketball game
I saw
last
that.
night.
Oh.
Obviously up there to see Chris Culliver, if that's the case. Sister-in-law sent a picture, but don't know if it was last night or earlier. Right, so I got you there. He also says Nelson Cruz went to the Padres is what he says.
Yeah.
He throws that in there. He says, I read they tried to balance it. He's talking about the divisions. They didn't want to get geographic regions together, if that happens, you would have Florida State, Miami, Clemson, Georgia Tech in the same pod.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I do understand that as well. I got no problem. I mean, if you're in the conference with them, geography don't matter anymore. Distance don't matter anymore.
I mean, not with
they just should have put it
yeah.
with what the best three that fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The best three that
we
fit.
know
Maybe
geography doesn't matter anymore. My God,
shouldn't.
look at USC.
Guess what?
And
You're going to get on a
UCLA.
jet to go to most of them anyway. What does it matter if it's 1 hour or 2?
Yep.
You know? I mean, you know, flying from University of Virginia to Florida State's not much.
No.
Not much. You still got to go through all that time to get on the plane, so it's not much more than going from Boston College to Miami.
Yeah, but
right?
how about Brigham Young, which is going to join the Big 12, flying to West Virginia?
Yeah, short hop.
Short hop.
Short hop to West Virginia. Yeah.
And, of course, the Big Ten's L.A. connection now. It starts in 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State and Southern Cal.
Yeah.
All right, I'll leave you with a trivia question as we take our halftime timeout and we come back with NFL football. I want to leave you with this trivia question. The last time the Dallas Cowboys won a road playoff game, and they're on the road tomorrow, or Monday in Tampa, on the road Monday in Tampa, and they're the favorite.
Mm-hmm.
The last time the Cowboys won a road playoff game, the quarterback matchup was blank and blank. Back in a moment.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stiefel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back to Sports Talk. Second half of our show begins here, halftime. Anything happened to you guys on Friday the 13th that seemed a little
as far as the bad
fishy?
luck?
Yeah. I don't remember anything from me or whatever.
Nothing jumps out.
No, same here. I was going to look at a couple, look at Max Prep's right quick scoreboard from last night here in a moment. First, let's
are we going to high school now?
Well,
or NFL?
I'm going to the NFL, but I want to cruise through national headlines and a couple high school scores, and I'll let you talk about the game you were at last night.
Oh, okay.
As well. Spurs set attendance record with 68,000 versus the Warriors last night. How 68,000, Brett, and why? Where in the world they play? Do you know? I don't either. 68,000.
I don't know.
Last night. I mean, there's no basketball arena that'll hold half that, are there? I mean, real basketball arena, like an NBA arena. There's none that'll hold half of that crowd, is there? I mean, that'd still be 34,000. You're not going to see 34,000 come to
I wouldn't think so.
41 home NBA games in the regular season.
I don't know what the special occasion was.
Yeah.
Did those people just go to see Steph Curry play? I don't.
Well,
the
I'm sure
Spurs
that,
are
I'm sure
horrible.
that played in. Rodney said it was in the Alamo Dome.
Oh, okay.
Played in the Alamo Dome. Jason says played a game back in the Alamo Dome. First time since 2002. First time since 2002 that a basketball game was played there, or the Spurs? I'm guessing just the Spurs. Haven't we had some
Final Fours?
Yeah, or at least regionals or something like that.
Oh yeah, there have been Final Fours there since then.
Alamo Dome.
Probably a couple.
NBA come out and said the refs missed 7 calls at the end of the Lakers-Mavericks game. 7 at the end?
It was ugly. I was watching it.
Jason says that record was the Spurs, just the Spurs playing in that building that far back. Missed 7 calls at the end of the Lakers. I thought it was going to say they missed 7 calls in a game, and I'm going to say that's not news.
No.
But 7 at the end is kind of. Are you surprised the NBA lets something like that out?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Who benefited? I don't even know who won the game.
Dallas won in 2 overtimes.
Did they?
Yeah. Now, there was a shot. The Lakers attempted a 3 with the game tied with, in the final second. I mean, a second left probably. And the shooter, it looked like, got hit in the hand and arm, and they didn't call a foul. And if they called it, he would have got 3 free throws, and all he would have had to do was hit 1 to win the game. So I would say Dallas benefited from that missed call, but all 7 didn't go Dallas's way.
Right. Well, I wouldn't think so. If they would, then somebody had some money on it.
Yeah.
Did you guys know Sean McVay is staying with the Rams and will coach again next year? I think that was announced late last night.
Yeah,
I saw it on TV this morning.
Yet.
I saw it on TV or Twitter. Had to be Twitter. I didn't even have the TV on. But McVay staying with the Rams after mulling over his future. What else would you do?
I was going to say.
Unless you're going into television.
TV.
TV, acting.
I know your game was not – I know your team was not great this year, but year in and year out, the Rams there's no reason for them not to be. They should. They'll spend the money. Obviously, if you got a salary cap, and you have to learn how to do it and do it wisely. But
is it because you didn't want to face a rebuild with the Rams?
What I'd heard,
they don't rebuild. They bring in free agents.
Yeah.
He was just seemed a little burnt out.
Who was their quarterback down the stretch?
Mayfield.
Yeah, looked good.
Yeah.
Looked good. I mean, I think they got their quarterback of the future because him along with McVay, I think he'll play his best. I think he'll play his best.
Seems to get a lot better out of him than what he got in Cleveland, and also, of course, his brief stint with the Panthers. So, hey.
Lenny, going back to just a minute about the way the scheduling's going. He says you play 3 in your pod and 5 more teams on rotation, which means you will play everyone every 2 years. That's good. If you play 4 years, you have the opportunity as a player. If you play 4 years, you have the opportunity to play everyone home and away in your career. Plus, somewhere during those 4 years, you will play Notre Dame. So Notre Dame gets the taste of everybody. And I've got 2 people that have gotten the trivia question right. And I don't know if they'll be honest or not, but I do want to know if they looked it up. You saw it?
As Notre Dame, the more ACC teams you can play, the better.
Yeah, for the most part, you're right. You're right.
That's more wins.
Yeah, what beats playing the Southern Cows and the?
Well, they're still going to play.
I know, but I'm just saying it's who else is their big rival?
Now I don't know with Southern Cal joining the Big Ten. I don't know if that could cut into Notre Dame playing Southern Cal every year.
I wonder. They should play them every year.
Yeah, they lost Michigan. Michigan had to stop playing them every year.
Yep, because of expansion, right? Yep. And that was a great game.
Yeah.
I always look forward to Notre Dame and Michigan.
Yep. Yeah, I do miss that game because it was always played real early.
Early.
Yeah, sometimes the first game of the year.
Yeah. And I don't know if I want it that early or not, but you know what? I mean, some teams play their best, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't want to play South Point that week.
Well, Notre Dame played Ohio State first this year, and I think they do again next year.
Nothing wrong with that. I like it.
Yeah, how many high school football teams are better early than South Point?
I can't think of,
August.
Yeah. Well, in their sleep, they're running that option right now.
Exactly.
So, same thing. Soto, $23 million leads Major League Baseball stars avoiding arbitration. And I'm guessing this is, what's his first name? Juan Soto.
Yeah.
And he is right now
San Diego.
With the Padres. Boy, their payroll must be like a West Coast payroll, right?
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo man gifted Super Bowl tickets after Blizzard heroics. I don't know the details on that. Bama coach Golding joining Ole Miss. I guess that's an assistant at Alabama.
What's new with the Saban? He always has several assistants leave at the end of season.
Well, this guy might be taking on a bigger role.
Could be.
I mean, maybe he's going to be a coordinator or something like that. Or maybe he just don't like Saban. He's ready to move on.
He's the defensive coordinator at Bama, or was, I should say.
The
great position at Ole Miss.
Al Golden that used to coach
Al Golden,
Miami.
he coached Miami
and Virginia.
for a while.
Didn't he coach Virginia? Al Golden? Tell me, am I wrong? I think it seemed like he was the coach at the University of Virginia as well.
He had a cup of coffee at Miami, right? A couple of years.
There's been quite a few cup of coffee.
He just didn't fit that.
Oh no, he's at Notre Dame. That's why I remember.
Didn't even get cold.
Yeah, he didn't.
Al Golden's Notre Dame's defensive coordinator right now.
Is he?
Yeah.
I've always liked him. Always respected him a lot as a
That
coach.
wasn't a good fit at Miami, though. I mean, he didn't. The culture there.
He was with the Bengals last year when they went to the Super Bowl.
He just seems to be around good teams, don't he?
Yeah.
Just seems to be around good teams. Maybe that's not a coincidence.
Yep.
The general manager in Green Bay says the Pack not yet ready to move on from Aaron Rodgers. So, and they have the they control that. All they got to do is, what is it, $40 million next year or 50?
I think it's 50, isn't it?
I was thinking like maybe it was 50 this year.
Chris Golden. Well, no, that's not him. That's a player.
Yeah.
I don't know who the Golden is from Alabama.
Oh, I definitely don't. Could be a son. And did you guys hear this? Robbie Knievel
Yeah.
died at 60 years old.
Yeah.
Daredevil son of Icon.
Yeah, pancreatic cancer was.
Oh, that's Golding.
Yeah, Golding and Golden.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Two different
different.
things.
Yeah, Golding.
Pete
and
Golding.
Golden.
Al's
Yeah.
Golden.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Al is Golden.
Which
This
is
is
perfect for
Golding.
Notre Dame.
Like Mike. He's golden. Just real quickly here also before we get into it, and I will tell you this. The last time the Dallas Cowboys won a road playoff game, this was the quarterback matchup. I have had 2 correct answers, and neither one have come from this room I'm in. I'll put it that way. I've had 2 correct answers with both the quarterbacks, because that's what gets you a correct answer.
You got my
both
answer,
of the
right?
quarterbacks. I got half of it, but I don't remember the second half.
You want me to give it on the air?
Yeah. No.
No.
In case a couple other people want to guess.
Yeah.
As soon as I run through the high school basketball scores, Mike and Brett will be first on that with their guesses. And this is going to be some hit and miss, and I'm going to read there's such big gaps on here between Western teams, but I'll give you some of the boys' scores from last night. AC Reynolds beat TC Roberson 62-56. Lincoln Charter beat Mountain Island Charter 63-46 on Friday night. Irwin loses to McDowell 43-40 in that game. Wow, a lot of teams in here that our audience probably has no interest in at all. Listen to this one. East Gaston. We've seen East Gaston play this year, right, Mike? You've seen East Gaston play, I think.
Yeah, and I would attest. The night I saw them, they were very good.
They beat Burns last night. Want to guess?
I'd say it's probably less than 10.
70-28.
What?
70-28
Wow.
last night. East Gaston over Burns, and
The score shocks me a bit.
yeah.
And that's after East Gaston just lost to Shelby
Did they?
They
by
did lose to
double
Shelby.
digits.
Well, I think the coach got their attention.
Yeah.
I think the coach has gotten their attention.
Well, okay, they may have lost to Shelby. I still say they're the best team, and I've seen Shelby and Burns.
Yeah.
I still think
Yep.
they're the best team
Well,
in the
they
conference.
they made
Well, I
a
would think
statement last
Bessemer
night.
City would be the
Bessemer
second
City's
best.
in there too, yeah. But East Gaston has beaten Bessemer City.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Have they?
Yep.
And Bessemer City beat Shelby the
Yeah,
first time.
Bessemer beat Shelby, so it's going to be obviously a pretty good race there.
Yeah. Let's see. Huff beat Hopewell last night. One of many battles in Mecklenburg County, 70-60. Reedsville 82, McMichael 64. Trinity beats Randleman 67-55. Salisbury 93. North Rowan 46. 93 points in a high school game.
That's really good, isn't it?
It is, out of Salisbury. East Meck, I've seen this team play. They got a good squad. They beat Providence last night, and that is the public school, not Providence Day. They beat Providence 73-64. North Lincoln beats West Iredale last night 72-38.
And by the way, big one coming up Tuesday.
It is a big one coming up Tuesday.
North Lincoln at East.
North at East. I like East in this game. I like East in both matchups when they play them this year, Mike. More so at home, though, this coming Tuesday, maybe than when they go on the road at North for that season finale later on in the season. Central Davidson 58, Montgomery Central 35. Farmville Central 97 last night over Green Central 70. Garner 88, Southeast Raleigh 63. Mooresville beat A.L. Brown 70-40. A lot of lopsided games, guys. Cummings beat North Moore 79-56. Chambers 70, Mallard Creek 59. East Lincoln over North Iredale. I don't want Mike to guess.
60-55.
Close.
Yes.
Close contest last
Reminded
night. North
me of-
Iredale beat East Lincoln once last year, didn't they? Like maybe in the tournament?
They may have.
Conference tournament?
Well, and they gave
Am I right?
They gave them a fit last year at East too. Game went
Yeah.
into double overtime.
Yep.
This one was very close. East trailed 20-12 into the first quarter. They had a little spurt right at the end of the second quarter to go up 32-13 30 at the break, and then they continued that run. Ended up being an 11-0 run heading into the third quarter. Was able to get about a 7-8 point lead, but the game was close, really close throughout. I think down the stretch, let me see here. Yeah, down the stretch, North Iredale got within 3 on a couple occasions, 51-48, 53-50. And really, it was just East Lincoln able to kind of salt the game away at the free throw line. Keandre Walker had a big layup off a pass from Jackson Fannin with about 36 seconds to go to put them up 57-51. North Iredale's problem, David, was that they couldn't get into the bonus. I mean, they couldn't even get
East into the bonus.
Yeah, they couldn't get East into the bonus. They only had one team foul going into the fourth quarter.
There are times when not having enough fouls can bother you. That's one of them right there.
And so all they could do was just keep fouling,
and throwing it in,
wasting time, and by that time it was just too late.
Well, in that case, you should be picking up one foul per second.
Yeah.
Throw it in, hit him. Throw it in, hack him.
They finally got East Lincoln into the 1-1, but by that time it was a little too late.
Too little on the clock.
Yeah, very competitive game though. North Iredale brought a crowd. And I don't know. It seems like East Lincoln brings out the best in North Iredale.
Maybe.
I think they were 2-3 in the conference, 9-6 overall.
They better bring out the best in everybody because they are the best team in their conference, I think.
Yeah. But anyway, for East Lincoln, Palmer Crichton.
Second best, maybe.
Yeah,
Hickory's tough.
Best.
Hickory's tough.
Hickory's the best. Palmer Crichton had 16 points for East, as did a sharpshooter by the name of Houston Hartzell. He had 3 3-pointers. Got a big contribution off the bench from Keandre Walker as well as Tyler Mizell, the quarterback of the state championship football team. Good win for East, and most notable, David, the 450th career victory.
You sent me that last night, and I said he'll hit 200 in about he'll hit 500 in about 2 years.
Yep, that's what she said. He will. I think he will achieve.
At this pace, he will.
At this pace, he's going to win 20 games a year or more with East.
Yep.
And
still got half a season to go here or close.
And I remember at the start, he told me last night. Said you were there at the start. When did he take over Lincoln in 1994?
I don't remember the year.
It was 1994.
I'm not good with years.
That
sounds about right, though.
93 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
94.
So he's going from Lincoln to Forest View.
No, it had to be late. It had to be a little later.
You think it was later than 94?
I think it was about 96 or 97.
It could be. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that. Whenever Lavelle Hall left and went to Appalachian.
Lavelle led Lincoln into the state finals in 93.
Yeah, and he coached at least one more year, maybe 2 more years.
So it could have been 95 or 6 before Hancock took over.
I think he was only there about 5 years.
Right,
at Lincoln.
about 5 years.
When Forest View opened is when he went.
That's when he
got
went.
hired by Forest View.
Yep. He was the first coach at Forest View. Yep. Where else did he go? East Burke.
Yeah. Mallard Creek.
And
East
Lincoln. Then East Lincoln.
I think he's going to close it out at East, don't you? That's just the way I see it.
It's looking that way.
Looking that way.
Yep. Well, he's not too far from home.
He's got 20, I don't know. He's probably got 26, 7 years.
I'm not sure, though, he'll retire right when his time runs out because I think he enjoys the coaching and the competition. So he may keep on going even after he gets 30 years in with the school systems.
And this is a young team. You look at some of the guys that.
Oh yeah, some of the scorers are sophomores.
Yep. Yeah. So
that Fannon's a sophomore.
The only thing I see about this team, they can really score in spurts. They've got good 3-point shooting, good bench play with Mizell and Walker, who are athletic. But they don't have that inside presence.
I think the only reason those two are coming off the bench might be because they're behind everybody else because they played football so deep. They may really be starters,
Yeah, they're kind
especially Walker.
Yeah, yeah, he's so athletic. Yep. The one thing this team doesn't have is that inside presence. Like a post player. They're just really a bunch of guards and forwards.
Yep.
But and that could hurt them. It may have hurt them against Hickory. I haven't seen Hickory play, but
that's Tuesday night, round 2.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Or maybe it's Friday night
next
week. Next Friday, okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Got North Lincoln and then turn around and play Hickory. That's tough for East Lincoln to play
rivalry
North and then turn around and play Hickory.
Have you seen North Lincoln? Have you seen North Lincoln?
No,
play?
have not.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're not bad. I mean, I saw them against East Gaston, and they've got some height. Pretty good guard play. That'd be a good. That should be an interesting game between East and North on Tuesday.
East Rowan beat South Rowan 80-41. Mount Airy over Elkin 82-31. West Davidson 50, East Davidson 46. Forest Hills beats Monroe 51-47. East Rutherford over Polk County 59-47. North Meck 86, West Charlotte 74. What that tells me right there is West Charlotte is going to be very competitive in the 3A because North Meck's one of the better 4A teams this year.
Yeah.
And they played them to a 12-point game. I think West Charlotte will be a team to watch again when the 3A playoffs begin. Kings Mountain beat Kramer 65-53. Let's see a couple here with no reports. Piedmont beat Marvin Ridge 60-52. Parkwood beat Anson County 78-62. Weddington 73. Cuthbertson 64. Trying to find West. Statesville loses to St. Stephen's last night. St. wins at 57-54.
Statesville only one win.
Yep.
This season.
I don't think the girls' team's won yet.
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken. Hickory over Ford 74-48. Crest beats Forest View 70-56 last night. Catholic 59, Palisades 46. North Surrey over Surrey Central 97-70. 97, North Surrey. Look out. That's a lot. Because I can tell you this. Allowing 70 is high for them usually.
Because they're good defensively.
They are. They're always really good defensively. And if they're able to score 97, they could be a team to watch as well.
They've always had a good program.
I think they might be number one in the 2A West.
Is that right?
I think so.
They don't have them ranked on here, though, in the entire state.
Well,
so that's what made me.
Top 25 in the state.
Hard to
ain't
hit.
going to have many 2A teams.
Central Cabarrus beat Carson 94-92. Seeing a lot of 90s. Here's another one. Hickory Ridge 96. South Iredale 57. And I can't recall the name, but South Iredale lost a baseball coach, an assistant baseball coach this week, passed away, and I think it was like a sudden type.
Yeah.
And it was an assistant baseball coach who was a volunteer.
Yeah, that's right.
Baseball
I saw that.
coach. I hate to hear stuff like that. Northwest Cabarrus 53, Lake Norman Charter 46. You'll remember this name, Northern Nash 67, Southern Nash 50 last night. Thomas Jefferson falls to Shelby. Guesses?
75-32.
Close, 72-26.
Okay.
Shelby, a big winner.
And North Surrey boys have one loss this year.
All right.
And it was to Mount Tabor.
Mount Tabor, which is 3 or 4A, one or the other, right? Yeah.
I think 4A.
That's not too shabby. Probably had to be. Well, I was going to say, that didn't have to be in a tournament because they're not that far from each other.
It was a Christmas tournament.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. It was a championship.
I just knew they were close enough to each other they might could play each other.
And they actually
in the regular
beat
season.
R.J. Reynolds and East Forsyth to get there. So two other 4A teams.
Porter Ridge beat Sun Valley 48-47. Northwood 47, Eastern Alamance 31. Lake Norman falls to Coxmill. Coxmill 86-77. Community School of Davidson 77. Pine Lake Prep 67. This would have been the game I wanted to be at, and there's no score. Nanahala at Swain. Somewhere on the river. Playing on the Nanahala.
Don't forget my Cape Fear boys.
Did I miss them already?
80-64 over Southview.
Hey,
I was able to find the original Cape Fear movie as a DVD with Robert Mitchell.
You already seen it? You already look at it?
I hadn't watched it yet.
Butler over Independence, 57-43. Thomasville, 77. Lexington, 33. That was a battle for the barbecue, right?
Yep.
Hendersonville over Brevard, 71-69. Bessemer City beat Highland Tech.
Bad.
75-22.
71-32. Close. Yeah. Washington, 95. Here's another 90 over Southwest Edgecombe, 57. Patton, Chase beats Patton, 44-36 last night. Olympic loses to Myers Park, 82-64.
That's funny because Myers Park, some of those teams are playing again tonight. It's a Martin Luther King showcase in
Right.
Charlotte, and they're playing. A lot of them are public school against private school matchups. I think Myers Park plays Carmel Christian, which is the #1 team in all of North Carolina.
Are they really? And Myers Park, a lot of people
They're
think
they're
they could
highly
go a long
ranked
way,
in 4A. Yeah.
Yep. Listen to this one, guys. This is the East score, but I got to give it. Franklinton, 91. Rocky Mount, 90.
Ooh. Almost 200
That,
points.
that has to be the highest scoring game, I would think, of the
We've
night.
seen higher, though.
High
Bill.
score and competitive. High and competitive. South Point's beat Ashbrook 80-66 last night. South Point's got a very good high school basketball team this season. Maiden beat Lincoln 54-27. Held Lincoln to 27 points last night. New Hanover 44, Hoggard 41. South Stokes beat North Stokes 69-59. West Caldwell 85, Bandy's 46. West Lincoln's boys beat East Burke 59-47.
Good job by the Rebels.
Yep, they just
okay, the coach at West Lincoln, Gary Robinson, right?
Yep.
Did he ever
Glad
coach
you said
at
it. I
East,
thought you was asking.
Was he ever a coach at East Lincoln?
He was at Maiden, but I don't recall him being at East Lincoln.
Okay.
I don't recall. I doesn't mean he wasn't, but he was at Maiden.
I was trying to remember. He might have been.
Southwest Onslow beat James Keenan 67-53. Havelock loses to Greenville Rose 84-67. Newton Conover beats Bunker Hill 65-54. Hunter Huss beats North Gaston 63-45. East Surrey 85, West Wilkes 66 last night in high school basketball. I'll give this one because we saw them play football in the state championship game. Their big rival here, Wallace Rosehill, wins 65, East Duplin 59. East Duplin was your state champions this year
They were.
in 2A football. A couple more here. Southeast Guilford beats Northwest Guilford 75-62. Grimsley beats Page 75-39. That rounds out your boys scoreboard from Friday night. One more time, anybody wants to weigh in and try this. The last time the Dallas Cowboys, we're going to take our final time out, come back and give you the answer. Last time the Dallas Cowboys won a road playoff game, and they're in Tampa on Monday. They got a chance. They're the favorite. The last time they did, the quarterbacks were blank and blank in that game. Back in a moment.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stiefel Nicholas can assist you. Call Fort Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Are we ready? Welcome back. We are ready. Ready as we'll get. Final quarter of the show here, the fourth quarter. Going to get into that NFL playoffs a little bit. A couple things to read. Quite a few things to read. Lenny says Al Golden was the head coach at Miami. I may have already mentioned that one. He said offensive coordinator Brandon Streeter at Clemson was replaced this week by Garrett Riley, Lincoln Riley's brother. He was the OC at TCU. Lenny's got another one here before he does. I saw that Dre Bly and UNC parted ways. That's what it said, consensually parted ways this week. I wonder what the issue was there. You don't just part ways unless there's something going on
exactly
behind the scenes. But I Dre Bly is who was it told me that was it Danny that said that one of his kids played for, I can't remember, somebody had a kid played for Dre Bly, and it might have even been baseball. Why can I not remember that? Lenny also says the West Lincoln girls lost last night to a very good East Burke Cavalier team, and they are very good. The conference championship is going to go through East Burke and Newton Conover and girls.
No question.
One of those two. 68-37 last night. He says, I'll just put it this way. He says the East Burke team may be better than the Newton
Well, they did beat them the first time.
team.
I wonder when West Lincoln's going to get back the one starter who got hurt during the Christmas tournament.
Say that again?
West Lincoln had a starter who got hurt in the first minute of the championship game in the People's Bank tournament. High ankle sprain. I just wonder if they're going to get her back before the end of the season. I think she was kind of obviously a starter and a key contributor.
Rodney has to remember this is a 2-hour show and not a 4-hour show. He said we flew through baseball. Well, it's not in season.
Oh, yeah. I mean, give us a break.
Man, you move. Man, you move so quickly through the baseball coverage. But I heard some baseball that perked my interest. Guardians signed first baseman, defensive designated hitter Josh Bell. I love Josh Bell whenever he was in Pirates. Braves traded for catcher Sean Murphy from the A's. The Brewers traded for catcher William Contreras from the Braves. And the Cardinals picked up catcher Wilson Contreras from the Cubs. A lot of Contrerases moving there. Lenny said hopefully next week.
Oh, good. On Anna.
Okay.
Bieberich.
Yeah.
Bieberich.
Jason also gets the trivia question right. These guys won't admit, they got their computers out this morning. I'm just kidding. David Avery says Mason, his son, got his 100th win in wrestling last night.
Awesome.
So that's a
milestone.
It is a very big milestone, especially backing up the football season he had. Before that, David also sent me a message, David Avery, that Robinson, your coach, Mike, was at East Lincoln in the early 90s.
I thought so.
Yeah. Don't say I told you. I didn't doubt you. I said, I don't know.
When I saw him at the tournament.
I knew he was at Maiden at one time.
When I saw him at the tournament, he looked familiar. I said, and he said, I know you. And I said, yeah, I've seen you.
Seems like a great guy.
He is. I mean, he's a good guy.
He does a good job on the basketball court.
I think they're well coached, West Lincoln.
Yep, I do too. But Richard, Rodney, and who else did I say? Jason all had a trivia answer right. And the last time the Cowboys won a road playoff game, Brett got it right. It took him a while. Let me tell you their first guesses, though. Mike first said Romo and
Wilson.
Russell Wilson, which would have been more recent. Too recent.
Brett
went too far back the first time with
Staubach and Tarkenton.
Staubach and Tarkenton, and that's the original Hail Mary game.
Yeah,
where the Hail Mary was born. When the receiver Drew Pearson shoved the defender as hard as he could out of the way to make the catch. This day and time, that would be called offensive pass interference. But they wasn't going to call it in that game for whatever reason. But I think everybody remembers the push off in that game. And there was another one somewhere here that I wanted to read. Butch, I just got a voicemail from Butch, but I have to check it here shortly. There was another one I was going to read to you guys. Jason says it was 94 when Hancock came to Lincoln. He left Lincoln the end of the 98 school year.
Thank you, Jason. I knew it was 94.
UNC had 9 defensive players hit the transfer portal. I saw them play defense, Jason. Nobody's going to want them.
Yeah, really? Wow.
9 defensive players hit the transfer portal. Of the 9, 6 were defensive backs, including 3 starters. Well, maybe some of the bench players were better at defense. Of course, you can say that about defense as a whole in college football today.
Yeah.
It's not a defensive game.
No, it's not.
And I swear there was another one on here that I meant to read to you
I think
guys.
Georgia plays good defense still, but you're right. As a whole, it's not the thing.
Yep. Did we ever give the real answer? Did I ever give the real answer? Steve Young and Troy Aikman. Was the quarterback matchup the last time the Cowboys won a road playoff game. So we know that was sometime in the 90s, right?
93 or 4 or 5.
I don't know.
That's sometime in the 90s, right? You don't have to name all 10.
Yeah.
All 10 years there.
I assume it was on one of their Super Bowl runs in the 90s. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there for a while, whoever was going to the Super Bowl came down to San Francisco versus Dallas for quite a while. So there's a good chance that might have been an NFC title game that we're talking about. Because you got to think Dallas won their division. They're playing at home in the first round. Then they wouldn't have played but 2. To get to the second game would have been the NFC Championship. So that would be my guess, that they beat San Francisco on the road in the NFC Championship.
I wonder if that was at the old Candlestick Park. It would have to be, wouldn't it? Yeah.
CO?
Yep.
Captain?
1993.
It was 93?
Yeah.
And was it the NFC Championship?
Yes.
All right.
In Candlestick.
And
Robert De Niro attended that one, too, as the fan.
It was the 92-93 season. But the game was in January of 93.
Yep. that's always confusing too, because if you look that up, it's going to tell you that was the '92 champion.
Yeah,
because it was the season champion, the
Final
season
score
that
was
started in
30
'92.
to 20.
And basketball is just as bad because it rolls over
over.
through the middle of the calendar. But at least it goes with the next year as being its national champion. Yeah, Jason said '92 season championship game on that particular.
And they also won one the year before that at Chicago.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
You mean the Bears were actually good at one point in time?
Wow. Who was the quarterback of the Bears then? When they
McMahon.
rolled in there.
If it wasn't McMahon, it was what's the guy from Florida? I can almost see him, but I can't.
It was
Rex.
No, 91.
Rick
No,
Grossman.
Was it not? No, wasn't
It was-
Grossman.
it
no,
wasn't
he was way after
It
that.
wasn't Jim McMahon.
Jim Harbaugh,
Oh,
How about
Jim
that?
Harbaugh.
How about that?
Steve Berline for Dallas,
Oh,
Jim Harbaugh for the
Okay.
Bears.
okay. Harbaugh.
I guess it's okay. Now, I kind of took this a different way when Lenny said it this way. I have heard this about Dre Bly. He is an excellent recruiter, and there has been a rumor that when the smoke clears, and I took it a different way when I read when the smoke clears, but I think he just means when everything settles down, he may emerge as the head of recruiting. So, why would you have to leave? Why would you have to announce, though, that you're parting ways if you're going to the head of recruiting? You just say he's named head of recruiting.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
Because it's, I don't know. I don't know about that, if that would be the case or not. But then again, who knows? I just don't think you would sound like you're
Parting ways.
that wouldn't be parting ways.
No, you're
that would
still
not be
there.
parting ways.
Yeah.
That would not be parting ways. That's what I'm getting at. That would not be parting ways.
No.
So I don't know. Lenny may be right, but that just doesn't exactly sound right to me. You know what I mean? Doesn't really sound right. I would have never used the word parting ways, the two words.
No.
Parting ways.
Not if the guy's going to take another position within the organization.
What you guys going to be doing today at 4:30?
I don't have a lot of interest in Seattle, San Francisco.
You don't?
No.
Okay, tell me why.
I just don't think Seattle's very good.
Yeah.
Well,
They're not as good as they will be in 2 years because they have all those
Oh, yeah.
all those Bronco draft picks and
Oh, yeah.
and including the number 3 pick in the draft, right?
yeah, it's going to be bonanza. For
Did you know out of last year's draft, how many people you think Seattle drafted last year that are starting right now? 6.
Wow.
6 draft picks last year are in their starting lineup. That's pretty good. That's a good draft.
So all
as
they really
rookies.
got to find is a quarterback.
Yep. Gino's he's the what is it they call the bridge. He's
Yeah.
the bridge.
The bridge
He's
to
the
the
bridge to
next-
get
to the
And I don't
next-
even know Gino's age. And he's played games where he looked good. He's played games where he looked
Well, that's
Yeah,
why he's
played
always
well,
been
but-
a journeyman.
yeah. But he's just there's not 32 of them out there, but he's not a franchise quarterback.
No,
He's a field gap, and that's what he's doing right now.
I'm interested
And
in
there
this
are a lot
game.
of those out there.
I'm interested in this game from the standpoint of how will Brock Purdy, what was he called, the irrelevant man?
Mr.
Irrelevant, how he'll react to a playoff game as a first-year quarterback. He's got a lot of pieces around him. I mean, that's for sure.
I don't think you look at it any different. I think it'll just be status quo for him.
Can
He
they
seems
win
pretty
it
even
all
keel.
with a rookie quarterback?
Can they? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if they will, but, he does get to play with the top-rated defense in the NFL. That doesn't hurt.
That does not hurt.
But-
He's got McCaffrey. He's got, Kittle offensively, a lot of pieces.
All right, here we go.
When was Ben Roethlisberger? What year did he win? What was his second year with the Steelers that he won the Super Bowl?
Well, Dan Marino went to Super Bowl his second year. Roethlisberger may have won his rookie year.
That's what I'm thinking.
And lost. I can't
Yeah.
remember. That's a good question.
Yeah, I wonder about that.
I can't remember exactly if Roethlisberger.
But anyway,
if it
for the
was first
picks,
or
I'm
second.
going SF over Seattle.
Remember, you know how bad we ain't even got there yet, Mike.
Oh, okay.
I think that's a no-brainer though. But
Yeah,
but
I wrote down my picks.
yeah,
and
I
get-
think that God, I can't remember. Marino. You know, we always think you get back and it's going to be easy. Marino always thought he'd get back again. He never played in another one, did he?
Mm-mm.
He played in that second year Super Bowl and didn't get back. Roethlisberger didn't play in but one more, right? One, maybe two. Maybe two.
Wasn't it?
It may have been. He may have won another and lost one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they did lose to Green Bay.
Yep.
They lost to Green Bay.
So Roethlisberger won 2, lost 1.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Somebody can, and I'm sure they will.
Oh, yeah.
Especially Rodney will correct us. I'm going to throw Mike in there too. Correct us if we're wrong on that. Second game of the day. This one looks to be a tremendous matchup. Jacksonville coming out of nowhere. There's your NFL Coach of the Year maybe. And Peterson. What's his first name?
Doug Peterson. Yeah.
Doug Peterson has done a tremendous job. Jacksonville looks like a whole new franchise.
Yeah,
and it took a long time, but it looks like a whole new franchise right now.
It does.
They will host the Chargers tonight without Mike Williams, one of their starting wide receivers. That's a big blow. He's going to be out at least 3 weeks. I don't think they'll be playing in 4 weeks,
Probably not.
because of not having him. Do I think they're good enough to go all the way to the Super Bowl?
It won't just be because of that.
You don't think?
No. Don't they have to go to Kansas City if they win this game?
Yeah.
Where do
likely.
you rank Kansas City in the AFC? Out of the 7 playoff teams.
No worse than
First.
second.
I got them third. But that's me. I got Bengals, Bills, Chiefs.
Oh yeah, Bengals.
In that order. The Bengals, Bills. Bengals is my pick to get to the Super Bowl.
Well, they both beat
Again.
Kansas City this year.
Against the 49ers. Did they? Cincinnati's Cincinnati's just good, and Joe Burrow is this is his time to shine. He loves this. He loves this spotlight coming up the next several weeks. I'm not saying Mahomes won't shine either, because he will.
Yeah.
But I think on the defensive side, I think Cincinnati's a little better. But we'll see. We'll see.
Anyway, I'm going with the Chargers over Jacksonville, though.
I'm taking the Jags.
Okay.
We're going to do it now.
Chargers.
2 Chargers, 1 Jags, and we all 3 took San Francisco? Or do you disagree
as
on
you
that
said,
one,
a
Brett?
no-brainer.
Well, I don't know if Brett's got a brain.
If he only had a brain.
See how stoic he is? He didn't even smile,
Didn't even
get mad,
smile.
anything.
Yeah.
Whenever I said, did you go with Niners?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just said I'm not even interested in that game because Seattle's not any good.
Right.
That don't mean you wouldn't pick them to win. Miami, Buffalo. Speaking of not interested, no Tua.
Yeah, who's starting? Skylar Thompson out of Kansas State or somewhere? Yeah, well, that's a no-brainer. Buffalo. Although it's not going to be that cold. I heard it's going to be 35 today.
I think it'll be closer than we think. I still think Buffalo will win, but I think it'll be. I think that one will be a closer game than everybody's thinking.
Could be.
Just because it's a division game.
Yeah,
It's a
that's true.
division
They
game.
played
They
them
know each other
twice.
inside out. Giants at Vikings at 4:30 on Fox. That Miami Buffalo's tomorrow at 1, by the way, on CBS.
Yeah.
Then the Fox game, the Giants and Minnesota. And I saw
Minnesota.
Iron Eagle this week, which we keep up with this kind of stuff. You see what Iron Eagle won this week?
No.
National Broadcaster of the Year.
All right.
Yep, that's good to see. He's one of those Fox guys.
Yeah, Minnesota, I mean, all these narrow wins. I just don't know what to expect from the Vikings. But they're at home. If it's close, they're going to win it because they won them all close.
You know what? All week long, I've thought this is the one where the visitors definitely going to win. But I'm going with the Vikings.
Me too. Vikings over Giants.
The Vikings playing at home is, I think it'll be very close.
Yeah.
But the Vikings playing at home is, in the playoffs, that's going to be a factor. The home crowd's going to be a factor. Brett?
I'm going to take the Giants.
Giants?
Oh.
Going with his NFC East, I see there.
Going with the Daniel Jones.
3 teams from that NFC East in the playoffs. Baltimore at Cincinnati, rematch from a week ago. Now, here's the bad thing for Cincinnati. This is the worst possible scenario they could have come up with for the playoffs.
It is.
Because you never want to play a team that you just beat in the final week a second time in a row, back-to-back weeks, and a team in your division as well.
Yep.
It's going to be hard to beat them twice.
Yep.
But without Lamar Jackson,
have they even named a starter? They hadn't even actually named a starter. It's going to be Tyler Huntley or Anthony Brown.
or John Harbaugh.
Yeah. But throw John Harbaugh in there.
Yeah, I don't know what Huntley's status is.
A lot of talk this week about whether Lamar is really hurt or holding out.
Yeah, no, that's been the whole thing.
Either one of you got an opinion on that?
Well, it could be a little both. They have he wants to be paid, and they're going to have to pay him, aren't they? Certainly a franchise quarterback.
They don't have to.
No.
But somebody will.
Dan Patrick made a good comment the other day. If you don't know, he said the same thing with Chicago. If you don't know that they're your franchise quarterback by now, that's your fault.
Yeah.
If you don't know one way or the other, that's your fault because you've had plenty of time.
Does Chicago know that Justin Fields is their?
No.
All right, I'm going to take answers, and I'm going to give people 10 seconds. 10 seconds to give me an answer on my – I'm going to ask a question. 10 seconds is all they've got to give me an answer. That way nobody can look it up.
Right.
You got 10 seconds to text me with the answer. 7 AFC playoff team. Who got the bye? 7 AFC playoff teams.
Kansas City.
Kansas City got the bye. So I think about all these teams that are in the playoffs. Oldest starting quarterback.
AFC?
Yep. Time's running out. We got Baltimore, Cincinnati. On Monday night, we got Dallas and Tampa Bay. We didn't pick Baltimore, Cincinnati, though. I will go with the Bengals.
Yeah, me too.
And I didn't get any answers in time for my latest
They're
trivia
all
question.
young.
There you go.
Very young.
Oldest starting quarterback in the playoffs.
It might be Joe Burrow.
Oldest?
No, he can't be the oldest. Josh Allen and Mahomes. It's got to be Mahomes.
It's Mahomes.
Okay.
No, he's not
The
playing.
oldest,
He's
yeah.
not playing this
I
week.
said in the playoffs.
Okay.
Oh, in the
I didn't say
playoffs,
playing.
yeah.
In the playoffs.
Yeah, Mahomes is the oldest. That's right.
Mahomes is the oldest.
But they're all
27.
Yeah.
27
The rest of them are
is the oldest
24.
out of the AFC
Yeah.
starters.
We all took Cincinnati, right?
Yes.
We did. And I'm taking Dallas on the road in Tampa, much as
Me too.
The old rule of thumb is never pick against Brady.
Yeah,
But for some reason-
not this Tampa Bay team.
Yeah, I took Dallas too. Just
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, this Tampa Bay team will look a lot different Monday night.
Yeah, than they did.
They're going to look good.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, they're going to look good.
Yep.
It all comes down
It
to
won't be easy for Dallas.
to me. Brady's going to figure that defense out. He already has, during the week. The question is, can Tampa stop Dallas? I think that depends on who wins the game. And Tampa's defense was the best part of their team last year.
Yeah.
And the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
But this
Last
year,
2
I
years.
don't know what the deal is, but they better find a way
Not
to
as
slow
good.
down that Dallas offense.
Haven't looked as good.
But I do think Dallas ends that streak that goes all the way back to the 90s of winning a road playoff games. And I guarantee you there's probably 15 teams out there in the NFL that have gone longer than Dallas without winning a road playoff game. But Dallas is just being, so many times.
Will this be Brady's, if they lose, last game in Tampa Bay? I think so.
In Tampa Bay, absolutely. Yeah, he's in Vegas next year.
That's
my thought.
Yeah.
He's in Vegas next year with the Raiders. Let's see. Here we go. Lenny said, I correct myself, was talk that maybe he was offered a position in another capacity recruiting, but he chose to pursue other opportunities. That's about Dre Bly right there.
So mutual parting of the ways.
Jason said all of this weekend's playoff games are rematches. They've all played each other. They're rematches from earlier in the season.
Yep.
He also says Brandon Staley, this is Denver, should be fired for playing his starters. Not Denver, it's Chargers.
Chargers.
Brandon Staley should be fired for all his playing all his
Mike
starters
Williams
in
got
that
hurt.
game. Yeah. And he had Herbert in there.
Hey,
In a meaningless game. A meaningless game, which they wound up losing anyway.
Yeah, what are you doing there?
He said there was no need to play them as the Chargers couldn't change their seating. This is back-to-back years he messed up the last game of the season. And I'm guessing Mike Williams was hurt. I think he played hurt a lot of the year, but was he hurt during that time? Did he get injured again in that time, and that's what's keeping him out?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
The next 3 weeks? They might all be out the next 3 weeks after tomorrow. The Chargers could be done.
Yeah. Jacksonville's a team.
We're going to do this too, real quick, and it's time, just about time for us to go. Since we did give right now our winners, didn't we, Brett? You got them all 6 of them?
Yeah.
Yep.
don't forget the other 4 teams that helped me. They got the well, it ain't but 2 more teams.
Yeah.
The Eagles,
The Eagles and Chiefs.
and the Chiefs.
Chiefs got by.
Are those your picks? Those your 2 picks to be in the Super Bowl, or is it somebody totally different come Super Bowl time? Let's go ahead and do that since it's the first
I'm
round
going
of the
with
playoffs.
the Eagles and Buffalo.
Eagles and the Bills.
I am going Eagles and Chiefs.
Eagles and Chiefs. I'm going to go 80s.
80s?
Yep, I'm going back to the 80s. Who am I thinking?
Oh, you're thinking San Fran. Right.
Well, they played Cincinnati in the
Bingo.
Super Bowl.
Y'all got it. Took both of you, but
Might
you
have played
got
them
it.
too.
Okay.
Did they meet twice? Yeah.
They met twice. I'm going back to the 80s.
Remember
Cincinnati,
Joe Montana's stirring rally?
Cincinnati getting it, yeah, and saying, "Hey, look, there's John Candy sitting in the bleachers."
Well, you
that
could
was
get
one of those
you
games.
could get Buffalo and Dallas would be a
You could. You could.
rematch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two
To get the
Super
Ravens
Bowl
and the
meetings.
Giants.
I
Yeah, I
think for
doubt
the
that.
Eagles, it depends on whether
And then the Chiefs 49ers, they just met a few years ago in a Super
They
Bowl.
did. They did.
Yep.
Chargers Niners, that would be a rematch. Whew, it was a bad one too. Way back in the day.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
Seattle's been to a couple of Super Bowls, but one was against New England and one against
Denver.
the Colts and Denver.
They beat Denver.
They beat Denver, but
lost
they-
to New England.
and lost to the Colts.
Yeah. No,
Um,
not the Colts.
what am I thinking?
New England.
Okay. That's right. That's right. Baltimore, they've been Dallas.
Remember
Just
that
about.
little interception at the goal line on that one?
Jacksonville's the only team in the playoffs that has not been to a Super Bowl then, right? Jacksonville's the only team that has not been. And they made the did they not make the AFC Championship one year?
Yeah, they did
Yeah, they
with
did.
Blake Bortles.
I think they made it the same year that the Panthers made it, and that was both of them's second year of existence.
Yeah,
But
did.
they both lost. It was Green Bay beat the Panthers, and
Well, Jacksonville made it just a few years ago. New England beat them.
with Blake Bortles.
did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe,
Lord.
maybe 5 or 6 years
Like
ago.
I said, that's too recent for me to remember.
Yeah, they did.
The memory works better the further you go back. Hey, we appreciate you tuning in this morning to Sports Talk. We've enjoyed it, had a good time. We'll look at our picks next week and see how right or wrong that we may have been. See if you took the Chiefs and the Eagles, is that who you took,
Yeah.
Brett? His 2 teams will be alive.
can't lose
next
today.
week.
You
So
cannot
he'll
lose.
be alive going into the
Andy Reid
second
Bowl.
round. The Andy Reid Bowl. That's exactly what it would be. Thanks for tuning in. For Mike, Brett, I'm David, and Sully. See you next week.